So what is the National Cartoonists Society? That's a good question, and I'm glad you asked.
The National Cartoonists Society is the largest and most prestigious organisation of professional cartoonists in the world. The primary purposes of the NCS are to advance the ideals and standards of professional cartooning in its many forms, to promote and foster a social, cultural and intellectual interchange among professional cartoonists of all types, to stimulate and encourage interest in and acceptance of the art of cartooning by aspiring cartoonists, students, and the general public. Membership is limited to established professional cartoonists, with a few exceptions of outstanding persons in affiliated fields. The NCS is not a guild or a union, although we have joined forces from time to fight for members' rights, and we regularly use our talents to help worthwhile causes. The seeds for what evolved into the National Cartoonists Society were planted during the volunteer chalk talks that a number of cartoonists did during World War II for the America Theatre Wing. The Society was born at a specially convened dinner right here in New York City in March of 1946 that saw Rube Goldberg elected as president, Russell Patterson as vice president, C.D. Russell as secretary, and Milton Caniff as treasurer. Ernie Bushmiller, Ray Van Buren, Frank Willard, Misha Richter, Joe Schuster, and many more joined, and within 2 weeks, the Society had 32 members. By March of 1947, there were 112 members in the National Cartoonists Society, and growing. In 1949, the Society volunteered to help the Treasury Department in a drive to sell savings bonds by sending NCS members out on the road. A nationwide 17-city tour was undertaken by teams of 10 or 12 cartoonists. Through the Society, NCS members have continued to serve the nation in person and through their art. Teams of cartoonists have toured war zones and military installations around the world in cooperation with the USO. Others have entertained at VA hospitals. NCS members have also contributed to many US government programs. Their efforts have benefited NASA, USIA, the Treasury Department's Saving Bond Division, and the President's Council on Physical Fitness. Other beneficiaries have been the American Red Cross and the United Nations. The tradition of lending our talents to worthy causes continues to this day. In 2001, for example, NCS members in the syndicated community dedicated their newspaper strips and panels to a Thanksgiving initiative that raised over $50,000 for victims of the 9/11 attacks. And members contributed a further $18,000 through the proceeds of a private auction. In 2016, our members raised more than $100,000 over one weekend in support of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. 5 years on, the NCS Foundation is once again raising money to support the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital with our 75th anniversary auction, in partnership with Heritage Auctions. Keep an eye out on this weekend's programming to see more about the selection of works in our very special original cartoon art auction. Today, the NCS membership roster includes over 500 of the world's major cartoonists, working in many branches of the profession, including comic books, editorial cartoons, animation, webcomics and online streaming platforms, newspaper comic strips and panels, gag cartoons, greeting cards, advertising illustration, magazine and book illustration, and much more. For the past 75 years, we've hosted an annual awards event where we come together to share our insights, connect with fellow professionals, and celebrate the best in our field. We call them the Reuben Awards, after our inaugural president, Rube Goldberg. If you haven't been to a Reuben's yet and you're a cartoonist, I highly encourage you to do it. Even if you only ever do it once, it's absolutely worth it. And as you're about to find out, cartoonists are the coolest people in the world. Hopefully we can all get together again in person in 2022.